What does masculinity look like to you? I think we can all agree that, in general, masculinity is often associated with strength, with power, and with dominance. And these traits have been traditionally seen as positive qualities that are valued in men. But there's a dark side to masculinity that can lead to violence, aggression, and other harmful behaviors. In this video, I want to take a look at the idea of true masculinity, what it looks like, and just why it's so damaging. For generations, men have been expected to adhere to a very specific image. There has always been a lot of pressure on men to be leaders, to be strong, to be tough, and to be emotionless. And these expectations and these norms that men are expected to live up to can be very challenging. And it's not only about being strong and stoic, never showing emotion, but they're also expected to be successful in their careers and to provide for their families. And this can put even more pressure on men and can make it difficult for them to live up to these expectations. And this means men often find it difficult to express their feelings and to connect with others emotionally. It's been perceived for decades that showing any vulnerability is often seen as a sign of weakness, which is, unsurprisingly, something that many men are reluctant to do. And instead they suppress their emotions and put on a stoic facade, subconsciously believing that this is just the way it is, that there's no other option if they are to be taken seriously as men by those around them. And while this may make them appear more manly on the outside, whatever that means, the dark truth about this way of behaving and thinking can take a toll on their mental and physical health, which I'll discuss in a moment. This type of masculinity fits in with the concept of toxic masculinity, which most of you will have heard of before. It's a term that's often used to describe the harmful effects of traditional gender roles on men. It refers to the traditional patriarchal ideals of manhood that have become damaging and harmful not only to men but to women too, with these ideals placing a heavy emphasis on stoicism, aggression, and risk-taking, and discouraging men from expressing emotions or from seeking help when they need it. While there are many positive aspects of masculinity, such as strength and courage, toxic masculinity can also lead men to behave in risky or in damaging ways. For example, men who subscribe to traditional gender roles may be less likely to seek medical help when they are sick, as they believe that doing so would be a sign of weakness, which can easily lead to serious health problems down the line. Men who bottle up their emotions, feeling that they are unable to open up about how they feel, are more likely to experience anxiety and depression. And they may well also have difficulty forming meaningful relationships and be reluctant, again, to seek help from a professional. Now, research has shown that masculine norms are linked to higher levels of alcohol and drug use, as well as behaviors such as driving under the influence as men look for ways to release the built-up pressure and tension. Not to mention these harmful traditional ideas about masculinity that can promote an unhealthy focus on competition and succeeding, even winning at all costs. This need to be the best can lead to further unhealthy levels of stress and anxiety, as well as a decreased willingness to seek help when needed, whether that's for physical or mental health issues. In our society, there's a lot of pressure on men to be the breadwinners and the protectors who are not supposed to show any weakness, which again means men suffer in silence with depression, with anxiety, among a whole host of other mental health issues. And one of the reasons they feel that they can't reach out for help is because it would mean admitting that they are not perfect, that they are not strong, and by extension, not a real man. This in turn can lead to some men not only turning to alcohol or drugs to cope, but sadly and all too often, it can also lead to suicide. It's abundantly clear that this form of toxic masculinity has a devastating impact on men, but can anything be done to change things around? And if so, what? I think the answer is yes, and like with most things, change can happen. But with all social movements, change takes time and it's a hard slog. There are a number of ways that we can begin to help men overcome toxic masculinity. First, we must challenge traditional ideas about what it means to be a man. Secondly, it's important for men to know that it's okay to ask for help, and that admitting they need help doesn't make them any less of a man. There is no shame in reaching out for help, and by doing so, it can literally save lives. We also need to provide men with a safe space where they can express themselves without judgment or without fear of ridicule. A space where they can be vulnerable and honest about their feelings, and by expressing their emotions, men will be given the opportunity to live healthier and more well-rounded lives. Only then can they begin to deal with the pressure they are under in a healthy way, while being supported by those around them, ideally by society as a whole. Finally, we must work to break down the stigma surrounding mental health issues, so that more men feel comfortable seeking help when they need it. Instead of valuing strength and power above all else, it's important to promote a more balanced view of masculinity that includes empathy, sensitivity, and emotional intelligence. And by doing so, we can help create a more positive and healthy view of what it means to be a man. Now, for more tips on how to live a happier and healthier life, why not check out my other video on the Sigma mindset that changes your life? Click the video on the screen and I'll catch you there.